Welcome to Full Speed Racing, where this week we're at Donington Park for 2 rounds of the F3 Cup Championship as the title fight looks set to go all the way to the wire at Snetterton at the end of October. Just 4 races to go this season, and the first 2 of those at Donington Park this weekend. Lining up in pole position is Tristan Cliff, who shares the front row of the grid with Alex Craven. Alice Powell, the third driver in the hunt for the title, lines up third, clear of Louis Hamilton Smith. The rest of the field coming to their marks behind the 3 title protagonists at the front of the field, and away we go. It's a terrible start from pole position for Tristan Cliff, who's jumped immediately by Alex Craven and also Alice Powell. And Cliff, who had a pointless weekend at Snetterton last time out with a non-finish and then a non-start, has got an awful lot of ground to make up. But likewise, Alice Powell and Alex Craven also had a frustrating time at Norfolk, so they all need a good result from today. So they head through the old hairpin for the first time. It's Craven from Powell and Cliff. Then Louis Hamilton Smith, who's staying with them. There is the Australian driver, Ollie Ray. He is one of the trophy class runners alongside Dave Kraskus and Philip Austin, which is for the pre-2002 cars. The rest of them are all pre-2008 machinery, as Alex Craven, one of the youngest cars in the field, the 2007 Dallara, sprints clear of Alice Powell and Tristan Cliff. Further back through the order, Tony Bishop doing what he can to prize his way past Ollie Ray, as Tristan Cliff using the slipstream, trying to close in on Alice Powell as they hit the brakes, jig down through the gears, slither through the faulty S's. Stuart Wiltshire up in the early order, shown very strongly in these opening exchanges, which is good to see. He's trying to close in on Louis Hamilton Smith. Then we have got Mark Harrison, who's next up. But really, it's the 5 second and third, which is the one that's coming alive at the moment. It's Tristan Cliff in the silver car, trying to find his way past the former Ford Renault BARC champion, the former GP3 racer, Alice Powell. But as the pair of them fight amongst themselves, it gives a very good opportunity for Alex Craven to break clear and possibly build a decisive advantage. Behind Powell and Cliff, we've got Louis Hamilton Smith, and then the slight gap back to Stuart Wiltshire and Mark Harrison. Harrison, the all-white car, number 4, trying to pick his way past the Mark Bailey Racing Run car of Wiltshire. Down through the crane of curves head the leading trio. Cliff looking very aggressive as he tries to get the car pointed through the old hairpin, chasing down Alice Powell. Problem Donington Park is that it's really a very, very flowing circuit, lots of mid and high speed corners. It's very pleasurable to drive, but it's very difficult to overtake because really you haven't got any hard braking zones throughout most of the lap except for Redgate, except for the Faulty S's, and then the Melbourne, Hairpin and Goddards. It means really the mid-section of the lap there's no way through. So despite the pace that Tristan Cliff is carrying, at the moment he is really struggling to find a way past Alice Powell, and such is the braking. So these Formula 3 cars, that even heavy braking areas, still a relatively short braking zone. So they all close up on each other as they work around the Montreal hairpin. Cliff just pushing maybe a little bit towards the limit of adhesion, sliding the rear of the car as he tries to just get that advantage to draw alongside and past Powell. A pair of them had a feisty rivalry all season. It came to a head last time out at Snetterton. Now the disagreement over the right to the same piece of tarmac at Riches. Both cars badly damaged in the barriers. Good to see that they've both been repaired and are in fine fettle this weekend at Donington Park. But at the moment they are continuing to battle over second and third, because romping clear is Alex Craven, and that is an advantage that is beginning to look very, very handy for Craven, who has been racking up the odd win or 2 throughout the course of the year. More importantly, has been very, very consistent. And so a victory here really would put the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of the fight for the title. Tristan Cliff, though, putting the pressure onto Alice Powell, trying to find a way through. Possibly could here. Thinks about the inside line, can't quite draw alongside. They've still got Hamilton Smith for company. Then the next group of cars, a super battle going on as well. Leader of the trophy class, Dave Kraskus. There he is, the former historic Formula 1 racer, elevating himself past Ollie Ray. Just wonder whether or not Ray is possibly a little bit down on power once more. Certainly seems to be struggling for straight line speed on that section of the circuit, as Powell, Cliff and Hamilton Smith continue their fight for second, third and fourth. Around the Melbourne hairpin on towards Goddards once more. Alice Powell, though, driving very, very intelligently here. She is just sticking to the racing line and making Tristan Cliff do all the hard work in terms of trying to find a way around her. Stuart Wiltshire coming under pressure from Dave Kraskus, who in turn has got Mark Harrison behind him. Tony Bishop, Nick Robinson, Ollie Ray, all part of that tussle as well. And this, one of the best races really we've seen all year in the F3 Cup. We've got two very distinct groups, and they're all busy fighting amongst each other. As to the inside at Redgate, Mark Harrison almost interlocks wheels with Dave Kraskus. That was very, very tight between the pair of them down through Hollywood, and they're all bottled up behind Stuart Wiltshire. And Wiltshire, steadily improving driver, but he would say certainly that being up in 5th position is really some of his achievements from this year in the F3 Cup. And therefore he's going to do what he can to maintain his place. Tony Bishop, meanwhile, has got Ollie Ray looming large on his tail. Ray, in turn, has picked his way past Nick Robinson. He's trying to reel in Dave Kraskus for trophy class honours. Still the 5-second third and fourth, as close as you like. You can really get a sense they went through the 40s, just how quickly these 43 cars can change direction as Cliff makes the challenge. Alice Powell into the Melbourne hairpin and goes through. Nice clean past that from Tristan Cliff. But can Alice Powell fight her way back through? She looks to the outside of Cliff. They hit the brakes into Goddard's. No way through there. Alice Powell, and now that Tristan Cliff's in second position, this is the opportunity for Cliff to take some championship points away from Alice Powell, possibly away from Alex Craven as well, if he could bridge that gap. It's a big if, because we're just over half race distance. He's got a lot of work to do. Replay of dramas further back through the field. It's a quick spin for Matt Payne, trying to pick his way past Frank Thomas. Already Tristan Cliff breaking clear of Alice Powell, who's got Louis Hamilton-Smith looming large in her mirrors. This frustrating day for Powell, because she's driving very, very smoothly. There's nothing wrong there with the driving technique, but she is seemingly struggling for pace a little bit against some of her rivals. Hamilton-Smith in no time at all has really brought himself right up to her gearbox and is trying to pick his way past as best he can. Stuart Wiltshire, though, has been demoted by Mark Harrison and may be further demoted by Dave Kraskus, who is highly on the pressure. Kraskus has got Tony Bishop with him as well as they head on towards Goddard's. Is Kraskus to be close enough to challenge on this occasion? Not quite, although Stuart Wiltshire almost gives the opportunity to him. 3-old hairpin. Powell and Hamilton-Smith, not quite nose to tail, but almost as near as the aerodynamics of Formula 3 car will allow. All the while, Tristan Cliff breaking clear from this duo. Not particularly closing in, though, on the race leader Alex Craven. You'd suggest it's still Craven who leads the way. Oh, and a problem for Tristan Cliff, who goes into the gravel, and around and out of the race he goes. You could hear the tyres squeal, and Tristan Cliff will be absolutely kicking himself with that mistake, because that was a golden opportunity to beat Alice Powell in a clean fight, potentially beat Alex Craven as well, take points off the pair of them, and instead he is going to be watching the rest of the race in the company of the marshals. He picks himself out of the car, which won't be damaged, it's just buried in the gravel trap. Very, very hard to get out of there. Still, Wiltshire, Kraskus and Tony Bishop do battle as we move towards the latter stages of the race now. Dave Kraskus, the rear wing on the Dallara, just shuddering a little bit under the very heavy braking. As running wide again is Stuart Wiltshire, and surely Kraskus can go through this time. He's got the outside line for Goddard's. It's going to be touch and go whether he can find a way through. Stuart Wiltshire's got the inside line, he's got the track position, so Kraskus couldn't pick his way past Goddard's. But what about on towards Redgate? Wiltshire knows Kraskus is coming, that's why he covers the inside line. Dave Kraskus, the outside line, takes the racing line. He's a little bit less acute, he carries more speed out and on towards Hollywood, so Kraskus gains the place, moves up to 5th and further consolidates his lead in the trophy class ahead of Ollie Ray and Philip Austin, who are running a little bit lower down the field. That's the old hairpin. Kraskus trying to sprint clear. Let's have another look then at the move into Redgate corner. It's such a tight, acute angle into the right-hander. Kraskus, though, just takes the slightly wider angle. It means he carries more speed through the corner. An awful lot more momentum on the exit. Seals the deal. For Alex Craven, though, this has been a nigh-on textbook performance. He's not put a wheel wrong, and Craven has brought himself very much into the mix in the championship fight, taking some points away from Alice Powell, further building a buffer over Tristan Cliff. After that excursion into the rail track for Cliff, so Craven just a few corners for home. Same going for the trophy class leader, Dave Kraskus. He's got Tony Bishop in pursuit as Alex Craven accelerates on towards Gollards for the final time. He hits the brakes, moves down through the gearbox on his Dallara and accelerates towards the checkered flag and victory in the first race in the F3 Cup here at Donington Park. Just 3 races to go this season, with then Alice Powell in second and Louis Hamilton-Smith completing the rostrum, following Powell all the way through to the line. Dave Kraskus is going to take an excellent 5th position, provided he negotiates Goddard safely, which is exactly what he does. And furthermore, Kraskus also scores more trophy class championship points, winning the category from Ollie Ray and Philip Austin. Alex Craven, though, the opportunity to receive the applause of the marshals and spectators as we take a check at the final results. So the victory for Craven, 2nd place Alice Powell, 3rd Hamilton-Smith from Mark Harrison and Dave Kraskus. Tony Bishop, Stuart Wiltshire, Robinson, Ollie Ray and Philip Austin complete the top 10. Celebrations for race 1. Join us after the break with all the action from race 2.